Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, staying clean. It's all about recovery here. And it's Thursday. And today I want to talk about why I tell my story, why I share on social media. And let me start with this, that the stigma between people that are addicted, people don't share that their person in their family has an illness and it's addiction because of the negativity. People focus on the actions of a person that's an addict instead of trying to help or move forward where they can become a recovering addict instead of living in active addiction. And mental health and addiction gets the same bad rap. Uh, and people feel ashamed that people they know are like that, or they associate with people that with that frame of mind. And the thing is that I suffered an active addiction for 40 years. So I know the pain of a person being controlled by a substance. I understand the pain of dealing with the trauma that they've created for themselves in their addiction, and also the trauma that was done to them. I understand. That's why I share my story. That's why I share what I've learned in recovery. But when I do that, I'm letting the world and everybody know that, Robert, you're a recovering addict. So people that know me may don't want to be around me because I share my truth. Because I share my truth. And they don't want to associate with me because you may be linked to the person I used to be by people making judgments on information they have no idea that they are feeling the truth, but they think they are. So people associate with people they feel comfortable with. People associate with people where they live the lifestyle that they live. And if you've broken cardinal rules, or it's like saying you've been arrested, you've been in jail, some people don't want you to share that in an open forum with their friends because they feel ashamed of what you've done, and they don't want nobody to look different at them. But my concern is not for those who are looking at my situation in that manner. My concern is I suffered from addiction for 40 years, so I know the pain. I've felt the pain. I've been there. I've been there in the jailhouse situations. I've been there in the riot situations in the jailhouse. I've been in the homeless situation. My sleeping bag was set on fire. So don't tell me about not knowing how it feels to be in active addiction. But me expressing this information is to help those who are still suffering And those who may have a question mark in their mind, well, I've been clean all this time and I got this, I can control this. I tell you this, I duped myself for 40 years and I stayed in active addiction. Are you willing to dupe yourself and bring you back down that rabbit hole that caused you so much pain? Or are you going to take precautions and don't tempt yourself? Because the interesting thing is, once you put it in your head, it's over. The game is over. You will not stop. Trust me, I know. You're going to want more and more and more. And then you're going to realize when the money runs out, I done messed up. Now the guilt and the shame is kick in. And the shame will stop you from going back to the rooms of recovery. How many times I've heard, I had all this clean time and then I messed up. I just couldn't face everybody else. That's why I didn't come right back, because I was ashamed. I done heard that so many times, which kept them in active addiction and put a lot of people in the ground. Because of shame. So my goal is for any and everybody in active addiction to come out of addiction and go into recovery and find a program that works for them and stay clean and sober. That's it. To die in recovery. When you die in recovery, you beat an addiction. So it's an uphill battle until you die. So the reason why I share my strength, because I want people to understand and know that people that come from addiction into recovery, we understand. We understand what you're going to go through. We understand how your mindset's going to go. We understand. We understand from the simplest people that work the program or the difficult ones that has to do a lot of research and find their way. We understand. Everybody's different and everybody's got to follow their path. But they have to come to the sound conclusion themselves that they need to help and they need to do this to get it right. There's a saying, you could take a horse to water, but you can't make that horse drink that water. Meaning that you could give a person all the wisdom and understanding about something, and until they choose to use that information, it doesn't matter. We understand that in recovery. When you are ready, we're here. When you're ready to do the next right thing, we're here. When you choose to pick up for this 24 hours, not to use and abuse, don't pick up. You have a choice. You can pick up or you don't have to. Can you make it 24 hours? And people say, yeah, I believe I can do that. Good. Then when tomorrow comes, they come to you, do you think you can make it another 24 hours? You made it 24 hours yesterday, so you should be able to do it today. Don't you think you can do it today? And they try it. Next thing, days become weeks, weeks become months. And then in the process, you're learning about yourself. And your system is getting clean, your temple, your body. From all that toxics that you put into your body. Your mind is starting to clear a little bit. Some people clear quickly. Some people clear slowly, but it all happens in time. It works out. So the reason why I share my story is, and I share my pain, is because not only for you, but I do for me. And the reason why is in my act of addiction, I've done some bad things. And the only way I feel like I can atone for the things that I've done is to help others in active addiction. This is the thing that gives me my inner peace, my happiness, because I was nothing nice in my addiction. So, recovery to me showed me a lifeline, a living life on life's terms. Now, don't think that just because you get recovery, everything, your world becomes perfect. It doesn't, no. No. Your world will not be perfect. But here's the thing. You'll be able to deal with every situation, every problem that comes your way with a clear mind. And your brain will actually work right. It won't be medicated. Your brain will actually work. And your recovery will make you make good choices. Because in recovery, we teach you, we want you to be a productive person of society. That means following rules, regulations, and laws. So you will have to carry and do things a certain way. You have to work, pay your taxes. Don't manipulate. Don't go into the store and steal. The things that you used to do when you was in your active addiction. Be a true friend. Remember how you did your family and your family accepted you back after time. Some didn't. Hasn't your life gotten better? And the interesting thing is that they found out that recovering addicts and addicts best understand. They can help, they can give information for a person to stay clean and sober. In this type of illness, book knowledge is good, but what keeps people clean and sober is those who work the program and they share their mistakes. See, when we share our mistakes in our recovery and how we overcame it and how we made mistakes, and we share this openly, then the people that are listening to it, they may say, oh, you know what, I was getting ready to do that. That makes a valid point, so I can't do that like that. So that gives you an opportunity to not make a bad choice. It's the same thing with the parent and the child. If the child has an open communication with their parent and they share everything with their parent, they may choose to do something if they go to their parent, and if the parent would explain it to them, well, listen, I remember when I was your age and I did this and this and it didn't work out well. These are the things that happened. Then I had a friend that did this and these are the things that happened to him. But if you go and say, well, you need to listen to me. You only been here quick minute. You don't know nothing. You can't mold the mind that way. I believe if you give people information and explain the choices that they make, they may lean to the right choice more or less than the wrong choice. I used to say to my stepchildren, if you did this and this, this will happen. If you did this, this, and this will happen. If you do this and this, I can't help you because I don't agree with that. But if you do this, this, and this, I'll help you. And 90.9% of the time, they didn't do bad choices. They followed the direction that I gave them. And it surprised the hell out of me. And the reason why I didn't say, well, you should have did that, because they weren't my board children. And I wanted to have a good relationship with them. But I wanted to understand how they thought, their thought process, how they came to conclusions about things that let me understand them more, to know who they was, because I'm not their biological parent. So I learned a lot. And by me doing this method, and this is the type of relationship we had. So I'm sharing this with you today on Positive Stroke Staying Clean, that the reason I'm here is I want each and every person that has been hurt by the abuse and use of drugs to live a life far beyond their dreams. I've been blessed so many times in recovery, and the funny thing is, if you don't pay attention, you truly don't see the blessings. You don't. My reminder of my past tells me exactly what my blessings are today. The choices that I make, the blessings that these choices have given me. So, if you're suffering from active addiction, or if you are thinking that you got it under control, that you can do whatever the hell you want, or if you're a person that wants to know about it because you know somebody that's going through it. If you're a person that knows somebody that's going through it, watch my videos on Positive Stroke Staying Clean and just listen. Don't judge, just listen. And try to look at it in an addictive mind. And listen. When you understand the pain of addiction and what an addict goes through, you'll understand the formula of helping them stay well, clean, and sober. There's a big stigma on addiction. There's a big stigma on mental health. Example, mental health. You have soldiers that go over into another country fighting for the United States. So they watch their. You ever been in a situation where you're sitting there talking to somebody, and the next thing you know, they get one through the dome. They get a bullet through their head, and brain matter splatters on you while you sitting there to have a conversation with them, and you're being under attack. How do you process that and protect yourself? That takes a toll on a person mentally and emotionally. This is the environment you put a human being in to be a soldier. Or a bomb gets blown, an ID, but body parts all over the place. It might be somebody you served with, or it might be the enemy. How do you process watching body parts blown all over the place? And you got to keep your head above water because they're trying to kill you. Something to think about, isn't it? So you come back to this country and you're supposed to be normal after you experienced all that. And as the body rests, these visions and these things pop and hit your back because you was running on adrenaline. You didn't have time enough to think. It was about survival. But now that you're back home, the brain gets to rest and now it's processing all this information and it's fucking you up. And they want to give you medication. Talk to somebody. And then they got to fight for their benefits and what they need just to live a normal life, but they serve their country and they're not no use to them. So this is how they get treated. And you have advocates fighting for the rights of these soldiers. But the point I'm trying to make out is that we don't know how much damage addiction does to a person. Truly, we don't. We don't know how much trauma that person has experienced, or if any. We understand how addiction works. But most people have issues before they get addicted. Something happened in their lives that hurt them deeply. It could be mistrust. The child could be abused. The child may feel abandoned. A wife may feel disrespected, been cheated on by her best friend, by somebody she knows. Well, somebody that her husband works for. Or person in a relationship finds out that the person they're in love with don't love them no more. They love somebody else of the same sex. There are so many issues and traumas that happen with people that hide this information and these things because they're so ashamed. And what it does is live rent free in your head. And it manifests more pain and more pain and more pain. And me being a recovering addict, we understand that a lot of our addiction comes from the mental and the emotional pain that we experience. I know how to deal with pain, but I don't know how to deal with mental and emotional pain. That's where I'm vulnerable at. And I understand that. So the more I understand Robert, the less mistakes Robert makes. The more you know about yourself, you can't get duped. You can't get conned. You can't get manipulated. And how that helps me is my mind. I'm not high. I'm not lit up. I'm not no Christmas tree. I'm not acting other than myself, which allows me to make good, sound decisions. So, by me sharing my strength, my hopes, and my dreams, by me living a life in recovery, by me sharing my recovery with social media, why doing my research for my live streams, all this gives me more and more and more information for a person to live their best life. And that's what I want for you. So remember this. If you know somebody that's in active addiction and you see them, you can look them in the eye and say, you don't have to live like that, but you choose to live like that, but you don't have to live like that. Can you try something different? I can help. And leave it like that. And if they do, first stop detox, and they make it through detox, residential program, and as they're in their residential program, you can support them through the program of recovery. But if you're going to do that, my suggestion is you get all the information you can about recovery. You deal with people that have family members that are in recovery, that you can understand and learn what they've been through to get where they're at today with the people they live with in recovery. They have meetings just for that. My suggestion though, learn all you can about addiction. It's just like, I'll give you an example. Now, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It scared the hell out of me. So when me and my wife, we in front of my doctor, explained, "Oh, you good candidate. Woo, woo. Okay, I'm good. You're telling me this is gonna be no problem." And I didn't do no research. I just took the information what the doctor gave me, and that was it. So operation went a success. I mean, I spent 24 hours after the operation in the hospital. I came home, and I'm starting to find out that a lot of stuff is not working the way it normally does, which is surprising to me. Now I'm getting nervous. So as I did my research on YouTube about my condition and my situation that happened, then I started watching these videos and reading all the information about my situation. And I'm learning how powerful certain parts of my body is. And since I don't have this no more, then these are the things that I need to do to get it to work right. And I said, wow. The reason why I'm sharing that is that I had to learn about this operation, about the effects of my prostate being gone. I had to learn. And I should have learned when he told me I had the cancer. I should have ran right to the thing, but my mind, I'm like, oh my God, get this done. So I'm more focused on getting it done and getting my head wrapped around about what's going on. And then thinking that I might not come out of this because my mother died of cancer. So now I'm tripping. So I didn't do my research. That's why I do what I do. I share because here's the thing. If you don't find out what works for you, if you don't find out what makes your life better, that what you need you to do for yourself to have a good life, it'll never happen. It will never happen. So in order for you to live your best life, you must learn the goodness, the good things that you do, learn the bad things that you do, understand why you're in the situations that you are, and how you can clean the wreckage of the mistakes that you make. And understand that you shouldn't feel bad because we all make mistakes. We all have mistakes. And a lot of them, nobody knows the mistakes we made because we keep them so close to the vest. I hope what I shared today makes you think, because my only concern is for you to live your best life, to find out what works for you in recovery, to make better choices than you made yesterday, because you live in your skin. It's your life. It's your way. It's up to you to keep the focus on yourself so you can live your best life. Y'all have a great and wonderful day.